Welcome to video number 4 in our series. I am super grateful for all of your support. I mean, look how many comments we've gathered. It's amazing. It just shows you that people really want to be happy. People want to get their happiness triad together, their health, wealth, and relationships. In this 4th video, we're going to focus in on our relationships. And when most of us use that word, we think of it in terms of dating and love. And that's definitely a component of relationships. However, it's only one of 3 components that we're going to talk about. We also have relationships with our friends, family, and our lovers. And so in this video series, I'm going to be sharing with you the top 9 excuses, 3 in our friends, 3 with our family, and 3 with our lovers that keep us not as bonded as we could be. I'm going to talk about what are my philosophies of friendship, our connection to our family, and how to make our loving relationships amazing with our lovers. Then I'm going to give you the best techniques that I've come across to find the right friends, people who support you. We're going to talk about how to get amazing bonds with our family, even when they have challenges with our personality, we have challenges with theirs. And then we're going to focus in, lastly, on our lovers. And how can we take our relationships in love to the next level? And if you're single or you're married or you have any situation in a relationship, this video is going to give you amazing insights. So stay tuned as we walk you through a process of maximizing your relationships. What determines how far you go in life? Is it how much education you have? Is it what part of the country you're from? Or is it what you look like? Well, those are all elements that certainly influence our level of success. However, the biggest indicator is actually who you surround yourself with, your friends. I've learned in my life, both as a therapist working with clients, as well as the research that I've done, that we become like those we surround ourselves with. In fact, I have a phrase. When you're in the environment, you become the environment. If you are surrounded with toxic people, you will inevitably become toxic. In the course of this portion of the video, we're going to talk about toxic friends. We're going to talk about how to cut them out of your life, and why, if you don't, your life is going to go down with them. I want you to pay close attention, because this is not going to be fun. It's not going to be feel-good, moments of butterflies on the inside, but it's going to be realistic, and it's going to be truthful, and it's going to have a massive impact on your life. I have a group of friends that I call the Shantaraj. I also call them my pit crew. And I came up with the metaphor of pit crew when I was studying auto racing, and I was amazed by how race car drivers are taking high-performance vehicles, multi-million-dollar machines, and they're racing at speeds of over 200 miles an hour around a track where one tiny mistake could end their life. And all of that exhilaration, they have to come to a screeching halt to have their vehicle worked on in the pit. That's when the crew comes out and works on the car. If this high-performance machine and this skilled driver pulls into a pit and the pit crew does not do a good job, it doesn't matter how great the race car driver is or how amazing the car is, they're going to ultimately lose the race if the pit does not do a good job. In the course of studying friendships, I find that there are 3 kinds of pit crew people that we can have in our lives that are the toxic kind. And we need to cut these 3 kinds out of our lives. The first kind I call the drainers. And if you can imagine in the metaphor, you're pulling in your high-performance vehicle into the pit. And as you're pulling in, the person that's supposed to fill up your gas tank comes out with a screwdriver and pokes holes in your fuel tank. And your fuel dumps everywhere. How would that work? Do you think that you would end up winning the race when you go back on the track? No. Why? Because they just drained all of your fuel. And we find that there are drainers in life. People that you spend time with that are always talking about what's not fair. They're always talking about what they don't like. what they're jealous of, how they're angry, and they're just so exhausting to be around. You need to cut these people out of your pit crew. The second kind, I find, are the takers. And in the metaphor of the pit crew, they're the kinds of people that would come out to your vehicle and they would say, "Oh, hey, I meant to change your tires on your car, but I used the tires for my car. Sorry." They took a valuable thing from you. And these people exist in our lives as well, sadly. These toxic people are the ones that take from our time, our energy, our resources. They may steal our girlfriends or our boyfriends or our money. Takers are people that ultimately leave us high and dry, wondering where did our stuff go. And you cannot have these people in your pit crew. And the last, probably the most toxic, are called the destroyers. And in the metaphor of the pit crew, imagine that you pull your high-performance vehicle in, and someone comes out with a giant wrench and starts smashing your engine, laughing the whole time, saying, "Oh my goodness, isn't this so funny? Isn't this awesome?" And you think, what is wrong with you? And that exists sometimes in our toxic friends. People that want to hang out with us and destroy our bodies, and they call it fun. Oh, we're just getting drunk every time we hang out. That's all we do, is just destroy ourselves. Or they say, forget about school. Quit and just hang out and have fun with me. They destroy our education, our bodies. They destroy our minds. They're making fun of us. They put us at the expense of the jokes. You don't want these three kinds of people in your pit crew. Drainers, takers, and destroyers have to be removed. Now the challenge is, you're going to come up with all kinds of excuses of why you can't remove them. I know. Because when I've held seminars, therapy sessions, and even in my keynote addresses, when people ask me the question, but how do I let someone go? I find that three excuses appear that stop us from cleaning out those toxic people from our lives. So it's cutting time. Time to really let the toxic people go. And we now know that there's three kinds of toxic friends: the drainers, the takers, and the destroyers. The question becomes, why don't we let them go? Well, there are many excuses that people make to keeping toxic friends in their lives. The three that I want to share with you right now. Number one is people will say, "Well, Sean, I would let them go, but we have history together. I mean, I've known them since third grade, high school, college." Just because you have history with somebody doesn't mean that entitles them to stay in your life. What if that history is very toxic? What if that history is very destructive? That is no excuse for keeping someone in your life. Think about this. Yes, you may have spent 5, 10, 20, 40 years with someone. But if that 40 years was mostly chaos, then it's time you add life without the chaos. The second excuse I hear with people not letting someone go that's toxic is they'll say, "But Sean, there's so much fun. I mean, we get in so much trouble together. We have so many secrets together. It's just so much fun." And look, I think fun is important. However, if fun comes with a massive price, someday it's going to stop being fun, and it's going to get brutal. If someone is in your life to just be jolly and just to make you laugh, but they are hurting you in other ways, you have to grow up. You have to mature and see that that is not a healthy relationship. And the third excuse I hear most often is, "Well, Sean, what if I hurt their feelings? What if they end up not being able to find any other friends?" And in this moment, I find that people stay in bad friendships because, well, they pity someone. And pity is no way to keep a friendship tight. It's no reason to stay in a relationship with someone as a friend. You want to make sure that you look up to your friends and that your friends look up to you. You need to select the right quality of people. People that I'm going to talk about in the philosophy section. My philosophy on what is the right friends to be choosing. We talked about who not to hang out with. And now let's talk about who to choose. This is my personal philosophy on friendship. I believe that our friends are in our lives to make our lives simpler, to make our lives more enjoyable, to help us relieve our stress, and to also be a good sounding board and keep us to our highest of standards. When you're choosing your friends, you have to recognize that you really have a huge amount of influence over them, and they have a huge amount of influence over you. And your friends have the biggest amount of influence on you on your bad days. When you're having a good day and someone tells you something, you're like, whatever, I know I'm awesome. But when you're having a bad day, when you're feeling insecure and depressed, and you call up a friend and they tell you, yeah, you're probably right, you're not going to amount to much, you're not going to graduate, you're not going to get that promotion, that girl will never go out with you. If that's the kind of response you get, you're going to start to believe them on your bad days. Doubt takes hold of us on our bad days. That's why we have to choose friends that when we are having bad days, they lift us up. They remind us of who we are at our highest vibration, who we are at our best. When you're choosing friends, make sure they're people that really enjoy seeing you succeed. So here's my top 3 philosophical ideas of friendship. 1, friends should be somebody to help you relieve stress in a positive manner. And there's so many ways to relieve stress in a negative way. You can overeat, you can overdrink, you can take risks with your health and life. But that's not what I'm talking about. You want to choose friends that help choose positive ways to reduce your stress. Things like exercise, things like reading, meditation, or prayer. You want people in your life that say, hey, I know you're upset, or I know you're depressed right now. Let's go outside. Let's go for a walk. Get people that want to make sure that you're in a good mental space. Number 2, get people that have lots of cool things going on in their lives. They're up to big things. They have a lot that they can expose you to in a positive way. You want friends that have abilities to introduce you to other amazing people, other incredible opportunities. And lastly, you want friends that will make sure that they are there for you even if it's inconvenient for them. You know, at 3 in the morning, if you're sick to your stomach and you can't reach anybody and you finally get a hold of a friend and say, I need your help, and they say, oh, you know what, I just can't make it right now, or I'm really tired, can you call someone else? You want to have friends that are there for you at a moment's notice. You can call them day or night, and they are willing to be supportive even if it's inconveniencing them. You want to look at friendship as a way to enhance your life, not just pass the time. Let's talk techniques. How do we find the right friends? And what are the characteristics we can look for so that right away we can tell whether they're going to be toxic or empowering for us? I'm going to give you 3 techniques on looking for the right friends. Number 1, go where you would go. Go where you would go. What does that mean? Well, if you're somebody that's into personal growth seminars, look for friends that are in the audience at personal growth seminars. That's what I do. That's one of the areas of my life that's important, that I look for friends. If you're somebody that likes sports, look around for people that are involved in intramurals and figure out how you can hang out with them through those activities. Go where they go. Number 2, you want to figure out what are the way they treat their friends. How do they treat their friends? Because eventually that's how they're going to treat you. You know, if they do it with you, they'll do it to you. So if somebody is constantly putting down someone, making fun of someone, they're going to do it to you eventually. And the third thing is, look at the quality of their friends. If somebody has just lame friends and you think they're really great, you have to ask yourself, what's going on here? And if they have all these negative or depressing friends, they may not be showing a side to them to you. So you want to look, go where they go. How do they treat their friends, and who do they surround themselves with in their pit crew? Those are the top 3